Welcome to Timelines. It's Open Friday. Open Friday. Okay. Welcome to Timelines, episode 177. It's Open Friday, and it's all about tech, media, and money today. And there's more to the story. You'll learn later on about what tech, media, money is all about. Okay, folks, I'm back on recording, and I'm going to just put bits and pieces up here as it sort of comes to me in my thoughts. So Tech Media Money is going to be a new podcast that I started. It's really a podcast, but I'm going to do it on Blab. And I'm going to bring some really good folks in on the show. They're sort of lined up. Of the 170 some odd interviews, I'm bringing back the very best people. And these are people who are very successful, who hopefully have made over $1 million or had over $250,000 in a year of income. And we're going to find out exactly what they did in this land of tech, media, and money. That said, I think media and tech blended are going to be huge. Because of this platform, I'm learning some of the best technologies and the best processes every day. I learn it like right away, and I know more than anybody. I went to a meetup last night for WordPress, and these are pretty sharp people in our community. And Reno's has a lot of jobs, a lot of technology coming here, but the people are either retired or they're sort of workers in these mega production factories, and they're not overly tech savvy. I hate to say that, but our meetup's not bad for WordPress. It's a place called the Collective downtown. It's a beautiful place. But last night I got to share a little bit of technology with them, and I learned that technology through the people I meet in Blab. So the tech that I just met is Pluto. It's Pluto.tv. I was trying to do some research on it, and as far as I can see, I think it's pretty new. It's coming on. If anybody knows about Pluto TV and what its history is, let it know. I did do some research online. And Pluto TV was developed. I don't have my notes up here. In fact, I'm going to pause and bring my notes up because it's been about 3 or 4 years when they put the company together. But I think it's just launched. They had a lot of legal hurdles to overcome. Okay, we're going to talk about Pluto with Mike for a couple seconds. Then we're going to talk about Blab. So that'll be the show today. We're going to talk about Pluto and Blab, some of the technologies we see, and then we'll wrap it up with something. So for this episode of Timelines, 177 Open Friday, I'm going to read about Pluto. First of all, if you go to Pluto.tv is where you can sign up, download it. Great app on here. I want to find out more about this, but I went to the corporate.pluto.tv about us. So it says Pluto TV is free online television service broadcasting over 100 live channels full of the TV shows, movies, and internet videos you love, all on one dial. The lineup is handpicked by people who know and love entertainment for viewers, moods, and taste, blending tradition and digital into the lead back. Okay, anyway, it goes on, and I'm not great. I like to do this actually on a straight recording, like a voiceover when I read stuff. But it says kickback, tons of exclusive TV channels. They have tons and tons of channels on here. It was founded in 2013. The Los Angeles-based company is backed by U.S. venture partners, USVP, United Talent Agencies. So I'll have to look those guys up. Maybe we'll get them online and do a show. But this is really interesting. I know there's been a lot of litigation about streaming media and TV and all sorts of different things happen. If it's in the airways, does that mean it's free and you can stream it? What do you think of Pluto? How did we discover this? We discovered it like the other day.
You told me about it yesterday. I hadn't heard of it. And I guess one of the things was that there are ads that you can't fast forward. So somebody's making money with it.
That's good. You got to make money. I'm a capitalist. You got to make money.
Yeah. And there were tons of stations that said, I played with it. I could not figure out how to find the main network stations.
I went to news or TV right at the top. I was getting the news. I watched.
Yep.
I think I've been streaming a lot of stuff, and I watched I should have done the debates last night, but I was at the WordPress meetup, and we had a late show with WP Tonic. But I did watch streaming live. I think it was ABC's app though, the State of the Union speech, and that was really good. It was really clear. I love my the Apple 6S Plus. Mm-hmm. And it was really clear, and you can just walk around. You can work and listen, and so that was really good. Hey. And so let's finish up Pluto. Before we go on, that just reminded me of something. Bush's daughter, who's on Good Morning America, today was behind the scenes and they showed her was on Facebook, and she was answering people's questions on Facebook, and they talked to her. And they said in the past, there's been fake her. I'm trying to think of her name. Let me pause for a second. Hey, one last thing before we go on to Blab Mike. I do want to say I was watching Good Morning America, and Jenna Bush Hager, who's on the show, was on Facebook, and they had her on the side talking about Facebook. And I'm into politics and the art of politics and studying how campaigns are won or lost between the Democrats and the Republicans. And we have a show called Meet the Voter at meetthevoter.com. But it was scary to listen to her talk because she's saying there was these fake Jenna Bushes, and we got rid of those. But now I'm on Bush. I'm just learning this. She said, I've really never been on Facebook, but I'm just learning it. And she was like texting back and forth to people who were asking her questions. Well, if you look at Jeb Bush's campaign and the people around that campaign, and you go to jebbush.com, you'll see it'll point to Trump. That means that Jeb Bush, even though his family's been in politics for, 70 or 80 years, first Bush, his dad was a senator, and they've been in politics forever. They have the consultants and people around him that are not using the technology over the years. They're blowing it off. And to tell the truth, in the past, you could use direct mail, you could use local stuff. But in the last 10 or 15 years, that's all changed. So if they don't understand the basics of social media in a presidential election cycle, they're going to get wiped out. So it's just my feeling that whole family is like losing out because the people around them aren't socially savvy. They may hire some people, but the very top consultants that are like right next to the Jeb Bush and others are not there. And you got to have somebody in your initial little element who really understands social media and adapts it over the years. So anyway, I just think they're so far behind the power curve. There's no chance that he will win this nomination, Jeb Bush.
Well, and that's and certainly with the success that Obama had. I mean, just by pure observation, because I'm sure any political campaign is watching what the other person's, what their competition is doing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Hey, Tommy just sent a comment, said Karl Rove would not use a computer if they didn't have to. I totally agree. I've been around that type of people. Yeah, I'm getting echoes. We're going to stop.
All right. You gave me that one printed out, right?
Hey, Mike just put up in the chat room, and I totally agree with him. Karl Rove would not use a computer if they didn't have to. Karl Rove, I'm around a group. I've been in politics since the 90s, but I've had a design build construction company with some really good technology, spent a lot of money, plus the military, all the things I've been around. I've been around computers, since I got out of West Point. I started doing Fortran. But I totally agree that the Karl Roves, that generation, those folks, some of them get it, but most of them don't. And they are able to win elections without it, but they're going to get slaughtered now. So I'm sure that Bush has got his dad's folks around him, and they're just not the right crowd to win an election. On the other hand, I think Trump has done an excellent job of running the campaign. First of all, I'm not going to vote for Trump, but he has done an amazing job running a campaign in that he hasn't spent much money, and he's hired, I think, some of the best social media people you could possibly have. So there's two contrasts there. The Jeb Bush, the old Republican establishment politics, which is not connected to young people, not connected to new media, not connected to anything, but the old folks who are dying out, who don't vote in presidential elections. And then you got Trump, it's not all social media, but Trump is definitely getting the message out through social media, going to the media stations and TVs. Like he'll tweet a quote, he tweets and focuses on the tweets, so he gets information out to the TV and news stations. That's no more press releases.
Well, and two, I was just watching, it was a gentleman that is on one of the talk shows who was opposed to Trump, and the conversation was the tweets that Trump was having back and forth with this guy.
Trump has got some good folks around. He's smart in that he hires the people that know what they're doing.
Well, look at the age of his kids that work for him.
So, Mike, let's go back and look at Karl Rove and what Tommy said. And I totally agree. Tommy basically said that Karl Rove wouldn't touch a computer if he doesn't have to touch a computer. And I totally believe that. And that's the kind of people that Jeb Bush has around him. Or on the other hand, Trump has amazing people around him, but I think you hit on something when you talked about his kids.
Yeah, I just think they're more business savvy and, of the age that understand the value of social media. Also an example of, in fairness to Trump being a businessman, having to be in tune with what's going on around him, where many politicians are so sheltered and only looking to get reelected, and and have people that are out of touch with what's going on, and afraid to recommend anything that might be different because they're on the payroll.
Yeah.
So if they make, hey, we need to forget these flyers and go to social media and it doesn't work, now they're fired.
Even mentioning it like Carl Rode, the king of. By the way, I think a lot of Republicans have left the party because they've been disgusted with the party. Especially, I'm in Northern Nevada, and my wife left the party. She said, I can't stand these guys. I can't stand Republicans anymore. I just can't stand. And she was calling them the insiders, the good old boy network, all that. She really did not like the party. And, we came from California, and I'm a party guy to say, but I'm not a party follower, but I understand the need to get people believe in free markets and free enterprise back into California. Though California does pretty well because of the people in it, but that's another story. But there's a third house up in Sacramento. And basically the Republicans and Democrats really decide among themselves as a handful of special interests to decide who they're going to pick.
Right.
So you got to beat that third house. And that's what's happened at the federal level is the Republicans and Democrats, that third middle house, the middle folks, and the established Republicans who are in that middle house, they don't fight back and forth. And they sort of, we'll fund this campaign, you fund that campaign, and we'll have the extremes fight it out in some areas. But anyway,
well, part of the problem, if that third party person does get elected, what power is he going to have? Because he still has to get the support of the Congress, of the Senate, and they're going to say, "Nah, we're just going to wait it out until we get our guy back in again."
That's what they do. But you know what? For at least
and then nothing gets done.
For at least one term, now stuff does happen. Outsiders, when they win, whether it's a city council, state, they make a difference. Now they may get thrown out because the special interests get together and throw them out, but I think they make a difference and they bring to light some issues that need to be light. Well, look at this cycle. It's got so bad with the Republican establishment that somebody like Trump is coming in and wiping these guys out. But he's also using some good social media. And I think the Republicans, at least the ones I talk to, are absolutely fed up with the establishment because of all the things that Obama has brought into their life, and they didn't fight back. At least they don't feel they fought back. Like Obamacare, things like that nature. So
sure.
And the lack, and I put those lists in there, about 17 things. But that going on, that's the Carl Rove story. Let's finish up with.
Let's swing on something on an upbeat note.
Yeah, upbeat. We got to be upbeat.
Yeah, we got to be upbeat here.
Okay, Mike. For the last topic, we'll get on something positive.
Yep.
What's new on Blab?
Hey, I noticed when I went on my Blab, when I would click on a show, if there was 1, 2, 3, or 4 people that were on the screen, if I was not connected with them, it automatically give a pop-up and said, do you want to connect with whomever? Whereas before, when you had to do it, you would have to put the @ sign, find the person's username, and then connect with them. So they've eliminated a step there. They made it easy for you to connect with the people that are on the screen.
So for the listener that was just daydreaming, say that again.
Okay. What happens is if we're on a Blab right now, and let's say Tommy's up there and he wants to connect with me, he would have to go over to my name, hover over my name, which then you'd have the drop down box, and he would click the follow button. All right. So now he's following me on Blab. All right. If he were to want to follow me on Twitter, he just clicks the little bird. Well, what I'm seeing now is that when you go into a Blab, whoever's on the screen that you are not following, a pop-up will come up on the screen and say, do you want to follow Tommy? And it was pretty neat because it just eliminated a step. Because at least for me, I pretty much, anyone that's on the screen, I'll look and see it, their profile, and I'll follow them on Blab. I may not always follow them on Twitter, but I'll follow them on Blab. But really? So I noticed that. So they're making it easier. They're giving you a reminder. Hey, do you want to follow whomever? And what was the other thing that I saw? Well, it looks like they reinstituted when you come onto the blab that whatever the one that's up on top is automatically starting. So that kind of came and went. Now I notice it's automatically starting, so you have to go over there and hit the stop button.
Yeah. That's. I wish they sort of not have it auto start. I'm playing around with some auto starts on some of my podcasts. And there's a reason why you do that, because you want to get the downloads, you want to get people started. But there's pros and cons. For the people who are on it every day, we don't want that to happen. For maybe the new folks, it gets them.
But the other thing I liked, because now I don't have to go through that extra step. If I want to connect with them, it's giving me that option right out of the box.
By the way, I'm going to make sure I post this a couple of places. That's good. Well, thanks for that update. I totally understand what you said now. The second time I had to stop and think about it. Now, I didn't get any pop-ups because Tommy and you are both the folks who are watching.
Right. You'll see it whenever you're on, and it's anybody who's on the screen who you are not following.
Okay, we just had a new person just pop up, and I'm not following them, but nothing popped up. I just had to go up and hit them. Go ahead and
it may only be at the beginning. I mean, I would say at the beginning of, which would make sense. It's at the beginning. It's not when you come into the blab, because I would think on the other side, because I'm not following that person as well, and I would think that would be a distraction, is every time somebody new came into the platform that box would pop up. So I think it's just at the beginning when you enter in a blab, and if it's people that are on the screen that you are not following, you'll get a pop-up to say, hey, do you want to follow this person?
Well, that's good. So I think that's going to be it for the recorded show today. Mike, thank you for coming on and helping out and bring us up with some technology. I'll do that. When somebody doesn't show, we'll just do a special show like this. So the show must go on.
Yep.
And then the people who don't show up, I'm going to offer them to do a backup show. There'll be backups. They may never, ever get up on an iTunes. iTunes, when I go to iTunes, it takes me an hour and a half to edit and get it up on iTunes. There's about 100 things you got to do to get it up on iTunes. It's not like a blab. So, hey, Mike, thanks. Maybe we'll cut some of our happy times about the politics, but that's set for Sunday night. By the way, we had, in closing, we had 2,700 people and growing who've downloaded a Sunday night show just off a blab. That's a good number.
You want to put you want to put your link for your show on Sunday in here?
Yeah, let's meet the voter. The other thing too is last night, meet the voter. I've got several websites now where this show automatically comes up live on the websites. I've got 19 websites. So I'm going to start putting them on every website on little widgets so the show comes up live, this feed. You know how to do that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We'll give a lesson the other day. I need you to take the embed code from your source and just stick it on the page or in a widget, and it'll pop right up. You stick a widget or a post, and it'll come right up like a fixed front page. So anyway,
all right, I think that's it.
They sound so sad now. That's Commander, I think. Yeah, Commander. Hey, Mike, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you saving the bacon. I'm going to go home, post on Facebook. Do you have one quick question, Mike?
Yes.
On Facebook, do you have? I didn't want to record this. Let me take it. Hey, folks, this is the end of the show. This is the end of the show. But Piper came on, and he is a branding expert. Just got back from Las Vegas, and we're looking for stuff for a real estate business. And Piper, what do you have for us?
Oh my gosh, we have quite a bit. It's really depending on how you want to present yourself. We really like to learn about your personality, how you like to engage with clients. Maybe you've worked with promotional products in the past, like to learn how those worked, and maybe they didn't work and understand why. But what kind of reaction do you want that individual to do when they receive a promotional product? In my hand, I've got a really simple, inexpensive item, and we're all about packaging. And you can package. This is actually chocolate, and it's Belgian chocolate. We work directly with the manufacturer, and we put down all the services, value proposition that you may have. Nice little catchy slogan up here. Find a caricature of yourself that we can put in here. This one gave me a little bit more hair. My forehead's grown since this picture was created. And then on the back, you put your call to action, contact information. But when you get this, the whole idea behind promotional products is you got to have a plan behind the product. You just don't want to hand it out. So when I hand this to you, it's going to motivate you to take an action. You're going to read, you're going to open it up, and your senses are going to go nuts because this chocolate is unbelievable, and people just love chocolate when you give it to them. And you're going to get a nice thank you, and people are going to remember. And this is 3, so we can share this. And that makes it a nice opportunity and a nice meeting and a nice way to start, a relationship that could last for quite a while and create referrals for you in the real estate industry.
Right. I can think of how we'd use it right now on the expireds and on the for sale by owners. Drop it off and just break the ice. And here it is, a gift from me with a little package of the other stuff we do. Hey, Piper, I'm looking forward. You're going to be on Timelines, right?
I'll be on Timelines. I look forward to talking further.
Thanks Take care. So much. Have a good show today.
Bye-bye. Okay.
Well, folks, that's why I love Blab. I love this Blab platform. I just found Piper. I actually need that. I need those things, this branding. We got lazy. We've been in real estate for, 25, 30 years. We used to do a lot of that with the pins. But, back in Modesto, we had this farm and we didn't have to do a whole lot of work to get a lot of clients and a lot of work. So now we're in Reno. When my wife's in Reno, she's had to start over. She has to get out there and knock on the doors and talk to folks and hand them things like with their names and branding on it. So important. And personal branding is also important. And I should really have this up. That's my media company, but we're thinking about changing. That's actually the name of my DBA, but I need to be branding myself. Well, without further ado, I want to thank everybody. I had a blast this morning on Blab. And I'm going to invite the person who didn't show up. They're welcome to come back. We'll see if they can create a backup show for me so we can fill it if I go on a trip or something or go someplace. We can always have something up in iTunes. Well, folks, I appreciate everyone who's here. I appreciate the live audience. Love you, Blab. Thank you, Blab. Thanks, folks at Apple for putting up iTunes and those who supported and who've helped me with the websites and all those different things. So without further ado, we're done with the show.